Donnie, Rightside, Joe Raineri, the early line right here on the SportsGrid Network on a Tuesday morning, setting the table for your SportsGrid day as we always do, but also look aheads here. What could happen next? Look, we know you're focused on college football and the NFL this Thursday night. I'm a huge Eagles fan. I can't wait for the Eagles to pace the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. But before we get there, looking at the postseason in Major League Baseball is still a lot of fun. We saw a tweet come up here, Joe, from Sportsnet that said if the Major League Baseball postseason started today, which was dated August 30th, here's what we would be looking at. Number 1 seed in the National League would be the Milwaukee Brewers. The number 2 seed, the Philadelphia Phillies. Other teams in the playoffs, Mets, Dodgers, Padres, and Cubs. In the American League, Joe, top seed there would be the Detroit Tigers. 2 seed would be the Toronto Blue Jays. And then have the Seattle Mariners, the Houston Astros, the Boston Red Sox, and the New York Yankees. And by the way, Sox, Yankees, wild card round number 1. Fantastic if that was the case. But I'm going to ask you this question. Tigers, Jays, Phillies, Brewers. Are those going to be the top 4 seeds?
I think what you see is what you get here, Donnie. I just don't see teams like, the Reds or the Royals making some sort of crazy comeback. Yeah. I think it's just a matter of the teams that you mentioned there in what order. Am I convinced that Toronto wins the American League East? Absolutely not. Is Detroit going to win the Central? Yes. Is it going to be a battle for the West in the American League? Not if Seattle keeps playing the way they're playing. It'll be a runaway situation for Houston. So I don't see a whole lot of surprises happening down the stretch here. It's just a matter of the order in which they finish, Donnie.
It's crazy, too, because you look at, again, the Mariners and the Houston Astros fighting each other for that top supremacy here. And if it winds up being that way in the playoffs, that's an interesting matchup. But I got to tell you, I would love Sox, Yankees on one side, Mets, Dodgers on the other for the wild card rounds here, man. That would be fantastic to watch you play out. But let's take a look at some of those AL odds here as it breaks down. Because we're telling you right now, the Tigers are the top seed right now. The Blue Jays number 2. Why? Because they're division leaders at this point. You look at the Tigers, a plus 320 price to win the American League, followed by the Blue Jays plus 390, and the Yankees at a 4-1 price. Mariners, Astros, and Red Sox after them. All tightly contested here, Joe. Would the Tigers still be getting your money? Or is there a team that say, you know what? I think we're getting underpriced markets here from the Sox, the Astros, the Mariners, Yankees, or the Jays here.
Yeah, I'm not buying Detroit. I've never bought Detroit as being your American League pennant winner there. I think it's going to come down to old school. It's going to be Yankees. It's going to be Red Sox there. And, maybe, I don't know. To me, it's those 2 teams. It's going to be, if it ain't broke, don't fix. Been a while since we had a battle to the finish between the Yankees and Red Sox. I think it's exactly what the doctor ordered for Major League Baseball this year.
Flip it over to the National League, Joe, as we talk about like the top teams, right? The Los Angeles Dodgers plus 185 price to win the pennant. The Milwaukee Brewers plus 380. The Phillies at a plus 430 price, followed by the Padres, Cubs, and the Mets. When I look at that Brewers team, I get more intrigued on a day-to-day basis. Now, Mizrachi doesn't look like he's going to be that unbelievable rookie gem that nobody can hit down the stretch. He's having the struggles as rookies do after a very hot start. But the one thing I can't deny the Brewers, Joe, we've never talked about the Brewers' bats as something you have to watch out for. Yeah, they lost yesterday. They still scored 8 runs against the Phillies. Like, this team is really good where that plus 380 price starts to say they're no longer like the little engine that could. This is a really good baseball team. And if they do get anywhere near the hitting that they've been getting in the summer, there's a legitimate chance that the Brewers wind up in the World Series, Joe.
Still my choice there. I mean, obviously, the price for the Dodgers is laughable here at this point. But, they're the champions until somebody beats them. But we have seen the Brewers do it on a number of occasions this year, playing their style of baseball, which is hit the cutoff man, take the extra base, hit runners over. What a shock here. So, I still like the Brewers. And the Phillies experience, not that far behind as far as I'm concerned.
No, take a look there at the World Series odds, Joe. No surprise, once again, it's the Dodgers plus 310 for the Brewers and then the Phillies in line. That's 3 National League teams, Joe, before we hit 3 American League teams in the Tigers, Yankees, and the Blue Jays. So the Dodgers are the favorites here. If I just said which league would you take, forget about the odds. Would it just be the National League?
They should be the favorite, but anything can happen. We know that. But it should be the National League has much better, I think, chances, teams that have chances of running the table than I think the American League.
It does. I agree with you there. Like the Dodgers, if they get hot with that frontline pitching and Shohei Ohtani, the Brewers have been fantastic this season. The Phillies, if those bats come around, and that, by the way, even without looking at a starting pitcher down, one of your best in Major League Baseball, and Zach Wheeler, Luzardo has stepped up. Sanchez has stepped up. Suarez is back. It's a pretty good team here. That'll do it for hour number one. Hour number two next. Let's focus on the NFL and get after it, people. With Joe and Donnie in the morning. Get fired up, people. Get fired up. It's almost football season in the NFL. We just had a segment here where now the juices are flowing. I feel like I have to press down like 50 different bets here. I can't wait for Thursday Night Football. But you know what also I can't wait for? The action to get started up right here on the Diamond today. We're going to head to Cincinnati, the Queen City first. Lodolo's on the mound, the lefty for the Reds, going up against Jose Barrios. You might say to yourself, like, oh, look at that. Toronto, a first-place team. Barrios, sure, I'll take that. Oh, no. Why is it roughly a pick 'em at this point? I'll tell you why, Joe Raineri. Nick Lodolo, 2.62 xFIP number, 2.56 Sierra over the past 45 days. He's been dealing for the Reds. Can the Reds pull off another victory over Toronto? And Toronto now looking in the rearview mirror at the Sox and also the Yankees saying, like, oh, no, they're going to overtake us. What happens today in Cincinnati?
Well, what do you do with do we trust Toronto's bullpen? I don't trust the Reds bullpen because they gave up the lead yesterday late in that game in the ninth inning, only for Toronto's bullpen to say, hold my beer. And Barrios on the mound doesn't exactly scream, oh, great things. He is not good on the road at all. So, yeah, I mean, listen, Toronto on the road, we've been saying it all year. It's been a red flag for me. They are not the same team like they are at the Rogers Center. So to me, yeah, I favor Cincinnati maybe to keep it rolling here today.
Let's go, Reds. Lodolo on the mound. Can he shut down those bats again? We'll find out a little bit later today. Once again, that's going to start at 6:40 Eastern. Let's keep it in the 6:40 Eastern hour and go to the Motor City. That's the New York Mets and the Detroit Tigers. Now, the Tigers are up comfortably in their division. They're not sweating things out, but they still would love to be the number one overall seed in the American League. But also, you can't be losing games here to the New York Mets in shootouts. Maybe they bounce back today. But how about Nolan McLean on the mound? He's got 20 innings pitched, Joe, in Major League Baseball. He has a 271 xFIP. The expectations are high for McLean, as I guess he has to be the new ace of that staff because some of the other veterans aren't holding up their end of the bargain. Gibson is on the mound for the Tigers and a favorite here for the Mets. Could the Mets get another victory in the Motor City today?
I mean, listen, this Nolan reminds me a lot of another former Met guy named Nolan that used to pitch for them back in the day. He is absolutely been lights out, this kid. There's nothing not to like about him. By the way, I don't think he's walked a guy in his last two starts here, and it looks like the Mets bats have finally figured it out here. And Sawyer Gibson-Long, his last two starts back in June, 7 runs, 4 home runs across 11 2/3 innings here. That was against the Rays and the Twins. Yeah, I think with the way the Mets bats are and the way McLean has been pitching, yeah, it's advantage Mets. That's the only way I would look here. I think they keep it rolling.
Yeah, kid. Mets got a couple young pitchers in their starting rotation right now. What is it? The Tom kid, I think, is going to get another start as well. We'll see what McLean can do today, but never a bad sign to have good young pitchers down the stretch. But how long can they keep it up? And maybe is there a bounce back today from the Detroit Tigers? They hit yesterday. They just couldn't defend, and they just couldn't get starting pitching or bullpen yesterday. We'll see if that does change today. We do have a mismatch on the mound here, and the Boston Red Sox trying to chase down the Toronto Blue Jays. They're going to take on Cleveland today. Crochet, the lefty, on the mound at home in Fenway, going up against Slade Ciccone. Favorite in this one? My goodness. Minus 275 at the opening number. It's backtracked a little bit, 265s, 250s in the sports betting landscape right now. But a total, Joe, open up at 8. We're now down at 7.5 at every single outlet right now. Crochet, I have listed as the third best pitcher on the card at a 256 xFIP number, which is tremendous. And actually the number one xFIP on the card. Boston, do they win easy today against those Guardians?
Yes, probably. The Guardians, one of the worst teams against left-handed pitching this season. In fact, over the last 15 days, they ranked 10th in strikeout rate against lefties here. This is a great matchup for Garrett Crochet. I think I saw this morning his strikeout prop at around 7.5, Donnie, but he has been mowing them down. I think he's got, at least 8 strikeouts in his last 5 home starts. I got no problem backing Crochet here to go up and over that strikeout prop and an easy win.
Seattle and Tampa Bay. Woo versus Rasmussen. Rasmussen's your guy down there for South Florida. How about that? They were roughly a pick'em today going up against Seattle. A total of 7.5 to 8 runs here. I'm telling you right now, I don't care how good these pitchers are, Joe. You're telling me somebody's betting under 7.5 in Tampa? We had 12 yesterday, 10 by the Rays themselves.
I mean, listen, Seattle is the pure definition of you never want to catch a falling knife. Seattle is a falling knife. They can't wait to get back to Seattle. This road trip has been brutal for them. Woo or no woo, you can't back Seattle at this point.
Woo as opposed to boo-boo at this point. Come on, Mariners, start hitting here. Chase down those Astros here. We're going to the Windy City next with a total of 8. Probably means the wind isn't blowing out. But we'll handicap it. You know that. Atlanta playing out the string, just trying to be spoilers. Tried to spoil the day yesterday for the Chicago Cubs, but the Cubs walk off the Brewers. Today, we're going to get round 2. Ding, ding, ding. Atlanta versus Chicago. Wentz, the lefty on the mound, going up against Shota Imanaga, also a left-handed pitcher. A 7:40 start tonight. Favorite overnight. Minus 170s in that range. As high now as minus 180s. You'll see the graphic popping up there around that minus 168 range. The total listed at 8 across the board. Light wind blowing in, just like it was yesterday. We saw a lot of runs yesterday here. Do we get just as many runs today? And also, is there a chance that Atlanta can play spoiler? They tried yesterday, but weren't able to hang on.
Yeah, and well, they're going to need to get more from Imanaga, I'll tell you that, because he hasn't exactly been crushing it. I think he had 5 starts in August. I don't think he won a game. I think he went 0-2. But at that point, also keep in mind, the Cubs have not been hitting. They're just not the same team they were in the first start of the season. So I think it's imperative, and it was good to see them be able to make that comeback yesterday. I thought it was great because the bats finally put it together. But yeah, they're going to have to start playing from in front. And if they do, I think they win this game. I think they win it rather easily. I think they can get the Wentz way before Atlanta's going to get the Imanaga here.
Carson Wentz, Joey Wentz, same Wentz on the mound. We'll see if that holds up there for the Atlanta Braves. Let's get a look at this next game because I always get intrigued by who's actually starting. Michael Lorenzen for the Kansas City Royals. We know he's a starter in Major League Baseball. However, he was favored overnight, Joe, by a price of around a minus 180. That's dipped down. Minus 156, minus 160s across the betting landscape right now. And a total that's listed at 9. But when I look here at Farris, who's going to be on the mound, and his first name, let me just double check. Mitch Farris hasn't pitched above Double-A, Joe. He's had 22 starts in the minor leagues this season in Double-A, 3-8 record, 4.27 ERA. He's had 116 innings and 142 strikeouts, so that's not too bad. He's given up 10 home runs in those 22 games. Again, not too bad, 55 walks, but an ERA around a 4.25 in Double-A going up against Kansas City in Kansas City. These are tough ones to handicap sometimes because you just expect that Kansas City should detonate this guy, but sometimes these guys, you haven't seen them a while. They make it through 2 times through the rotation and they get pulled out into bullpen start. How do we factor on Kansas City and LA today?
Well, I mean, Kansas City was one of very few teams that had Labor Day off yesterday, and the Angels had to take on Houston yesterday, and they got beat up pretty good there with Kikuchi and company. So the rest advantage for Kansas City at home, waiting for a Double-A pitcher to show up, Donnie. It feels like maybe Kansas City got a good opportunity here, but at Kauffman Stadium, too, humidity. Are we getting an over here? It feels like we're getting an over here tonight in this one.
Might have. Let's take a look at the weather, Joe. 76 degrees. Oh, no, Kansas City. What happened to your 85 and 90s that you have every day? Light wind blowing in only 3 miles per hour, and so no significance there. No rain in the forecast. So a clear, beautiful night at Kauffman Stadium. We'll see how that plays out. St. Louis. They're playing out the string. They're taking on the A's today. Severino going up against Michaelis. Whenever I hear Michaelis's name, I automatically get the pen out, start writing down things I want to do against the St. Louis Cardinals because Michaelis is a terrible pitcher. Roughly a pick'em, Joe, at this point now, and a total that's listed at 8.5. I have Michaelis as the worst analytical pitcher on the card today, and it doesn't surprise me. He usually winds up somewhere in the basement, and he probably gets shelled today from the A's.
Well, he should. I mean, but Severino, I think this is his first start back, right? So he was on the 15-day IL. He had some sort of oblique injury there, but now he gets to start against the Cardinals. And prior to doing that, though, he was a much different pitcher on the road than he was in that sandbox in Sacramento, where he said I hate this place, man. This is just not good. I'm a fly ball pitcher. I can't. The good news is St. Louis just doesn't hit a lot of home runs here. So, yeah, I think if he is up to it, I think it's advantage A's, and I take him early because I'm with you. I think Mikolas could give up a couple of long balls here. Next thing you know, the A's are playing from in front in this game.
Yeah, that guy stinks. Usually similar weather patterns there to Kansas City. Yep, we got 79 degrees at first pitch here, Joe. Light wind blowing in, no precipitation in the forecast. So a nice night in St. Louis to get the party started with some runs at the plate. You know what's going to happen. Michaelis always gets beat up. We'll see if he does it again tonight. San Francisco and Colorado. You see the total out there, 10s now up to 10.5, and a monster favorite for Logan Webb and the San Francisco Giants, and rightfully so. Freeland, not a very good pitcher. 492 xFIP over his last 45 days, of 477 Sierra. He should get hit around the block today. And let me just do a quick little check of the weather conditions in Colorado. 82 degrees at first pitch, light wind blowing in there. Good hitting conditions tonight for the San Francisco Giants. Do they hit Freeland tonight, Joe? What do you think?
Well, Freeland's one of those weird pitchers with Colorado where his numbers are better in Colorado than they are on the road, which is hilarious to me here. But what difference does it make? He's pitching against the hottest hitting team in Major League Baseball right now. So much so that now the Giants have literally hit themselves back into the conversation for the wild card. They're only 5 games out of that final wild card spot, and they send their ace Logan Webb to the mound, who has actually been pretty good in Colorado here. So, yeah, the way they're swinging the bat, there is absolutely no way you can bet against this Giants team right now, especially against Colorado in Colorado.
How about a smoking hot team here, Joe? 9:40 start tonight. That's the Texas Rangers. Get everybody injured, get all your pitchers down, and then start playing your best baseball of the season. They've won 6 games in a row, 9 of their past 10 games, and they're going to take on Arizona in Arizona. Latz, the lefty on the mound, going up against Chris Matt, the righty. Roughly a pick 'em, depending on where you're shopping at, and a total that's listed at 9. Don't mess with Texas right now, Joe. They're hot.
6 straight now for the Texas Rangers, who all of a sudden at 72 and 67 look like they're making some ground on Seattle, who absolutely can't win a game on the road. I think they're within a game and a half of the final wild card spot. So just like that, the Rangers very much in it, only 4.5 out from Houston as well. So, and they're doing it. I don't know how they're doing it. You got a whole bunch of guys. You lost all your top end guys. And yet here they are continuing to beat the teams they're supposed to beat on the road. This has been a heck of a West Coast trip for them. I'm not stepping in front of the Texas train right now. It's a lot of experience still on his team, and there are guys hitting.
It feels like remember the Guardians had that little resurgence, like, oh, we're going to lose our best closers and our best relief guys. We're going to trade some players away. And then, oh, they had a couple game win streak. Well, it's now like I've been waiting on Texas the entire season. Now, Texas is doing damage without their best players in the lineup. It's kind of funny how some things work out, but that's the way it's been for Texas. We'll see if that hot streak can continue out there in the desert. Baltimore and San Diego tonight. Wells versus Darvish on the mound. Heavy favorite, no surprise for the Padres. Give or take 174 to 175, depending where you're shopping at. In the total between 8.5 and 8 here. Darvish, can he be dominant against Baltimore? Baltimore playing out the string. Padres looking to chase down here the Los Angeles Dodgers. What are we thinking, Joe?
Well, they better do something here, the Padres, because they somehow managed to throw up all over themselves yesterday and lose to Baltimore. So they need a big bounce back here. Darvish at home. I like the under yesterday. It is a pitcher's ballpark here. I don't mind the under again here with Darvish and company on the mound. I think it's still a lower scoring game. I'm looking at under 8.5.
Yeah, nice little slate across Major League Baseball today to have some fun with. And I know when it turns to that month of September, everybody just starts to get anxious about the NFL season, which is coming up on Thursday. We'll talk that a little bit more here with Tom Vecchio coming up in the next segment. College football heading into week number 2, but don't forget about baseball. A lot of people will turn their attention to other sports. There's a lot of money to be made down the stretch in the month of September, and a lot of mismatches and a lot of pitchers that shouldn't be in Major League Baseball. We just talked about a guy hasn't pitched in AAA and getting brought up in the major leagues just to get a look-see as a AA pitcher today. That's what you're getting for Los Angeles. Does it always work, Joe? Does it mean we get 7-8 runs out of those guys? No, it doesn't. But you'll see now games that you thought you should have had wrapped up. I go like, whoa, who's closing this game? I never heard of this guy. And they go, look, we got to see what this guy can do in a high leverage situation. Great. My money is on the line. So as always, buyer beware there, Joe. But come on now, September baseball. We love it, right? We love it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is it's urgency time. Urgency.
Talking about Major League Baseball tonight, having some success, Tom, is there a younger pitcher out here that might be worth backing in a hostile environment today?
Yeah, let's go to the Mets, who, Joe, we were covering this game yesterday on in-game live, just a bananas game between them and the Tigers. Let's go to their young pitcher they just called up a couple weeks ago, Noah McLean. Let's go to over 5.5 strikeouts for him. So this plays into essentially three things, two of which are related. One, the Mets bullpen got extremely taxed yesterday. They do have a day off on Thursday, but then their next day off isn't until, I believe it's the 14th or 15th of September. So they are coming up against it. Number two, they've let McLean go deeper into games. He's already been at 90-plus pitches in all three of his starts. It's not like they're easing him into things, what do we get from him? And then when it comes to the Tigers and really just him as a pitcher overall in striker rate, the Tigers have been up and down on offense. And they've actually taken a step back. Now they have the third highest striker rate versus right-handed pitching, sitting at 23% on the season overall. And McLean, he has a 28.8% strikeout rate. Yes, it's in a very small sample size of only three starts, but I want to take that as a positive sign. Will it stay at nearly 30%, which is where Paul Skeens is at? Probably not. Is it going to drop down to 18%? Probably not. But if we get him as a 25% pitcher against the Tigers who are struggling, and the Mets are allowing him to go just that deeper into games, so he could go 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 earned runs, and he could still have the strikeouts because they need the length from him after using 6 relievers yesterday.
It's kind of crazy, too, how productive he has been since they brought him up, Tom. I mean, I don't think he's walked a guy in his last 2 starts. And that curveball against left-handed batters has been absolutely nightmarish for him. So, he is the kind of guy, I was joking with Donnie, I said it reminds me of a former Nolan that played for the Mets, and Nolan Ryan. He's going to have that kind of strikeout numbers here when he's a full-time starter, no?
I think so. Between him and they just called up Tong the other day. Like, they need these pitchers. Like, this has been the Mets' issue all season. They didn't go out and get pitchers at the deadline. They were dealing with injuries from the start of the season with Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas. We saw Senga get hurt with that hamstring injury when he was covering first base earlier in the season. Clay Holmes hasn't been himself or was never a true starter. So, like, they need these young pitchers to step up. They need the innings out of them. So even if he gives up 4 earned runs, I still think he has a chance to hit the over 5.5.
There you go. Major League Baseball on the docket today. As we like to say, don't forget about baseball with football season beginning in the NFL. What a fun weekend it was here at the SportsGrid Network for week number 1 in college football action. Now we turn the page to week number 1 in NFL action. Tom Vecchio, thanks for joining us today. We'll catch you on the SportsGrid Network. As for myself and Joe, we'll be back to close the show down in style next. Fill up the gas tank, people. Joe's taking you on a ride. Where are we going for some more money tonight on a Tuesday, Joe, huh?
Well, if it ain't broke, we ain't fixing it here. And right now, folks, for most of the season, they were broke. And that was the San Francisco Giants offense. But that is no longer the case here. This is a team that has finally figured it out. Rafael Devers has finally figured it out. Willie Adames has finally figured it out. They're crushing the ball right now. And now they get up to go against long-timer Kyle Freeland here, who's going to try and hold this lineup in check. And I do not see that happening. Not to mention, they're going to have to go up against Logan Webb, who already faced him in Colorado earlier this year, and the Giants won 9-3. So I don't see how we're going to have anything more than the Giants bats continuing to remain hot against one of the worst team in Major League Baseball in a park that temperatures are going to be elevated, ball's going to be elevated. I like the Giants to win on the run line here.
Yeah, the parts that you love, too, about what you said, Joe, with Colorado is they usually don't have good starting pitching. Even if they do, you're still at Coors Field. You bring in that bullpen for Colorado. Like, magic usually happens late in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. And also, when you need that run line, it's so much better to be the road team than the home team because you don't score 1 run in the top of the 9th to get a run lead. You could paste 5 more on the board and cover that run line, whereas opposed to, oh, we're down 1 in the bottom of the 9th, we scored 2. Oh, no, I lost my run line. So keep that as a factor as well. I'm going to keep it simple tonight too, Joe. 7:40 start for me. I'm going to Minnesota. It's going to be the Chicago White Sox and the Minnesota Twins. Davis Martin, young pitcher, not very good. Simeon Woods-Richardson coming back off the IL, not very good. That line is listed at 9 runs here. I'm going over tonight in that game between the White Sox and the Twins. 9 runs. Give me some runs. Keep it away. Run line victory for San Francisco. Runs by Chicago, Minnesota. A 2-0 night for the boys. That's what's on deck, and that's what's anticipated today, Joe.
Yeah, I would not expect as many runs with the Houston Astros and New York Yankees tonight with Framber against Max Fried. We might have the ultimate good old-fashioned pitcher's duel in that one, Donnie.